You are now listening to Feeding Off Each Other.
Well, well, well. If it isn't Jason and Dave. I knew you'd find me here.
I knew you'd record this podcast here.
We have our first guest today on the podcast.
Should we introduce
Huge
ourselves?
honor. Ourselves?
Yeah.
We introduced ourselves last time.
Everybody knows
You want to say something new about yourself?
No, but, I don't know. Someone maybe dives in on episode
All right,
1, not
everybody.
0.
Dave wants to talk about himself.
Well,
Let's hear it.
big surprise. Hates the podcast name. Hates the soundboard. Now loves it.
No, but we should all, every episode, probably introduce ourselves first and last name.
Thank you. Okay, go for it, Dave. You lead it.
Hi, I'm David Wiggins.
And?
Oh, no, that's it.
Okay. I'm Matt Dennison.
I'm Jason Lucas. I'm still a Leo.
I wonder if our voices are distinct enough because some podcasts, you can't tell who's who and you get confused.
That's true.
I think our voices are pretty distinct.
Yeah, they are. You'll be fine.
Can you guys impersonate my voice?
Can you guys impersonate my voice?
Oh, who said
You're
that?
good. How'd you do that? I'm David Wiggins. People are so confused
That
right
was
now.
less offensive than the voice I did for you.
What?
He's being too nice.
Mine was actually flattering.
Yeah.
I love it.
Come
I
on,
love
Jason.
it.
Let's hear your impersonation.
Of who, Dave?
Why me?
I don't know anybody. Do an impersonation of yourself.
Oh, hi. I'm Jason Lucas, and I like to ride bikes.
I find when I hear my voice in recordings, I sound kind of Kermit the Froggy. Like, that's the quality I
Oh
don't
my
like.
God. Hi, I'm David Wiggins. And,
I'm David Wiggins.
Hey, that's solid.
That's pretty good.
Kermit the Frog here.
Oh, that's great.
Hey, dude, that's really good.
we found Dave's talent. Add it to the soundboard.
He's like, ow.
Nailing it. Yeah, so today's we have our first guest, Dan Gaud. This is our first time having a guest, kind of figuring out how we're going to do these intros and outros. We're looking for your feedback, listening at home, in the car, in the igloo. Let us know. We want your ideas. But hello, Dan.
Hello.
Thanks for coming on our, program.
Yeah, I'm happy to break the ice for everybody else that's going to show up here.
Yeah, we're so sorry. It's going to be a roller coaster of emotions.
I'm used to the scrappy, mahalo my dude, IFHT.
You have worked with us for a good
Yeah,
amount of
that's
time
fine.
now.
I know what I'm getting into.
So we figured that, well, this is my idea, that we do intros. Rather than just going into the podcast, we're just talking to someone that you don't necessarily know who it is. We do a little intro. We kind of break them down, who they are, what makes them great, why we know them, why they're here.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we think maybe, you guys think we should do this every time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's fun.
Yes, talk about me, how
I think-
awesome I am.
Exactly. For one, pump their tires. And then I think it's funny too if each of us kind of takes a turn at writing them, because everyone has a different writing style here and a different relationship with the guest. So there's going to be a variety here,
I'm going to do a haiku for my next one.
as you would.
Pumping tires. That's a good name for a podcast.
Not good enough, apparently.
No.
So I have an intro. I'm willing to start us off. I'll read the first intro, and maybe after you guys can give me a critique or corrections or kudos for my intro.
Okay.
Oh, you wrote something for real?
Yeah, I wrote something.
Wow, okay, go. Want to
Oh
hear
wait,
it.
did we? I know you made some edits.
Yeah, I made some edits.
Did I actually delete that? I think I did. Okay,
This is
I'm gonna go
classic.
for it, guys. Get ready, guys.
Okay,
Cool.
Our friend Dan G is a wizard. And no, the G doesn't stand for genius. It stands for God. Daniel, am I saying this right? Gaudreau.
Yeah, you got it.
Daniel Gaudreau, or Dan Gaud for short, was born in Magog, Quebec. Did I say that right?
Yeah, that's good.
Magog. And is most certainly a brilliant filmmaker with a heavy background in visual effects. Besides his VFX work, Dan is a jack of all trades, writing, directing, producing, and shooting his own films. His most recent work is an anthology by the name of Automatic and can be streamed on CBC Gem.
Starring Matt Dennison.
No sponsors. That was This is just a genuine shout out to Dan's film.
A genuine.
Dan's anthology, Automatic, is essentially a collection of his best work over the past 10 years, stitched together into one seamless and visually stunning 50-minute film. I've watched it many times. It's incredible. And no, that's not just because I play the voice of a robot named Matthew at the end of a film.
Which is the best film.
It's just simply incredible what Dan can do with a mouse and a keyboard and his thinking raisin. Plus, he's an avid mountain biker, avid nerd, and avid friend of ours. Thank you for being here and feeding off of us, Dan Gaud.
Oh my God, that was the best intro I've ever had. Wow. Thank you.
Clutch soundboard. That was great.
That is so good.
That was really good.
Like
Out of 10?
You should write my bio.
11.
Oh, really? What, guys, we're setting the bar really high.
6.9.
6.9.
Yeah.
Wow. I thought it was really good.
10.69. Yeah, this is like
You hit the French pronunciation.
Magog.
It's easy because I've hung out with you for 2 years now, and when someone comes around that I don't know anything about, it's going to be much harder. I'm going to be on Wikipedia scrambling.
You're
Yeah.
gonna
Just copy paste from Wikipedia.
you're gonna
Imagine
pick up
if-
some French. It's good.
Imagine if Nardwar was here, the amount of research that I would have to do.
Oh my God.
Matthew Dennison from Richmond, British Columbia.
So Dave's the impression guy.
Well, we have to know.
Dude, this is really good. Yeah, that guy would really school you on the research. Like he would
Whoa.
break you down
Yeah.
one by one. You would be like, you're the guess.
I would love to receive a gift from Nardwar. But enough about Nardwar. It's Dan's
Hi.
spotlight.
Oh my God.
We have a lot to talk about. Look at these notes. Look how long this is. Look at all this
Dude.
stuff.
This is like my life in there.
Yeah.
All right.
We got to talk fast and get into it because
What's-
these podcasts are supposed to be like an hour or something. An hour and a half.
Okay.
Whatever.
Question number 1. Go.
Question number 1
We're good.
is a statement. Congrats on your newest release, Automatic.
Thank you. I'm so happy that 5 people saw it. And hopefully like 10 after this podcast.
Tell us a little bit about it.
Oh God. Where do you want me to start? Like from the beginning? Yeah, you pretty much nailed it. Like it's been 10 years that I've been doing that. And CBC, they did this emergency COVID fund when COVID hit. And I applied to it with like a really sick trailer. Because before that, Automatic was called Love, Death, Robots Indie Edition. And I did the same. I don't know if you guys saw the first Love, Death, Robots trailer, but it's very like hardcore music, like electronic music, like, and it's like just quick cuts of like 0.3 seconds each. And I found the artist. I took another song for that guy and did the exact same trailer. And it was called Love, Death, Robots Indie Edition. Because I was like, I'm going to piggyback the wave of the Netflix marketing and all that. That was my idea. So I did that. And I sent it to Tim Miller, which is the director of Love, Death, Robots and Deadpool and a bunch of stuff. Because I kind of found his email because he owns a company called Blur, which is like one of the biggest VFX and animation studios in the world. Well, maybe not the biggest, but one of the best. And yeah, I was like, I'm going to send it to him, see what he thinks, just for fun. And I didn't expect any reply, and he replied. And he was like, this is really sick. This is my impression of him. It is really sick, dude, but you're going to get screwed by Netflix. And it's basically what he said. But he was like, he gave me advice on how to frame it, like as an homage or whatnot. But I was just excited for him to reply to me. And since then, I've been sending him a bunch of emails that he doesn't reply to because like that guy's annoying now. But anyway,
Everyone gets one.
yeah, get one reply. I got like 4.
Did he tell you why you would get screwed over by Netflix?
He said there was like Netflix as an army of lawyers ready for this stuff.
Oh, you would get screwed because you're using the name.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
I see,
that.
I see.
Sorry, I
Okay.
didn't put
Yeah,
that
yeah.
emphasis
I
on
thought
that.
it was they were going to take advantage of your genius work and
No.
make a fortune off you.
I wish, but no. Yeah,
As
but
long as somebody's making a fortune, I don't care.
yeah, absolutely. Hopefully me. Hey, but no. After that, CBC got. I released that like on YouTube for fun, and then CBC released their COVID emergency fund, and I applied to that, thinking I would never get it. Like sci-fi, weird robots, movies, VFX heavy stuff is not like the Canadian standard for content, I feel.
It's probably too good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't say that, but it's just like, it's too weird. It's very out there. And I find weird as a compliment, by the way. I'm not dissing my own work. And yeah, so, and they replied like 6 months later, like, oh yeah, it's cool. You're in. Like, cool.
Whoa.
So
You son of a bitch.
you said
You're
it.
in.
I'm in.
So the Love, Death, Robots indie was just a segment that
No.
ended up being in the anthology, or was that
No,
just the inspiration?
it was like I wanted to really push like myself for the next. I released the trailer of Love, Death, Robots Indie Edition, and I was thinking of pushing myself like 4 or 5 months to finish everything and release it on YouTube as the anthology. But CBC jumped in. I was like, I couldn't use the name anymore, so I just went back to Automatic, which is what was the name of the short film that Matt was in before, and now I just used that name because it felt automatic, robots, whatever. It kind of felt good.
But CBC didn't jump in until 10 years of you working on it?
Yeah, exactly. Like the most of it was kind of done, but since like there was one film in there that I started in 2018, and the VFX got so good, like all the tools got better, and so I was like, I'm just gonna redo it. So I redid everything, and that wasn't the smartest thing to do, but it was definitely the best thing to do because it looks way better now.
So when you say redo, is that like literally started from scratch and just taking the story? Or
I had the
use-
rough edit and like maybe like 75% of the VFX work done. So I just scrapped everything, redid the edit, like made it way tighter, and redid all the visual effects visual effects shots.
Gotcha.
And it's like, yeah. So like all in all, Automatic, this indie thing that's on CBC Gem that like not a lot of people will see, as much VFX per shot as any Hollywood blockbuster film out there that costs like 50 to 100 million.
So
like,
we met a couple years ago, and you would show me a shot here and there. You'd be like, hey, check this out. And you know, it would either be something that you sent me on my phone, or I would be with you in person. And you'd be like, look at this. You're like, yeah, this is a shot from my film, and I would have no context, no clue of like, what is this thing? Like, it looks cool, like yeah, it looks pretty sweet, but I don't know, it wouldn't like click for me. And then when, you know, fast forward 2 years later, and it all came together, I was like, my mind was. If you can't see, for those of you listening, my mind, I'm doing the mind blown thing right now. It was
yes,
seriously mind-blowing, because I'm like, oh, like, okay, yeah, like I had no clue, like, I don't know, you were trying to tell me the story of what was, and I just, you know, I had to see it for it all to come together. And like the you know, I'm gonna pump your tires so hard here, but it's incredible, like, to see the robots that you're working on. Like, how many times have I had to ask you, wait, you do this? Like, this is you do? Because when I see something like that, I imagine there's a huge team working on this.
Yeah.
But there's no difference between, I mean, you're a huge critic of yourself and VFX work in general, but in my opinion, when I see this, I'm like, this looks like a Hollywood movie. This is crazy. This would take me a lifetime to figure out how to do.
yeah, I see it and I'm like, this is not good enough. But thank you. I appreciate that. It makes me feel a bit better.
Matt, like every project I've worked on with you, we've got the first edit done, and we've been like, we probably have to refilm and redo everything. Like,
Yeah.
like every time we're like, this is a disaster.
Yeah, when you're the all-knowing creator of your own artwork, you know all the flaws, everything that could have been better, you know, the other ideas you had. But as a viewer watching, or as just someone enjoying your, you know, artwork, you don't know what was inside the creator's head. But so we're all our own biggest critic. But
Exactly.
no, seriously, like, I was just blown away, and I still don't understand how you do that, and I still am not quite convinced that you do it all yourself.
Yeah, dude.
Are you keeping something from us?
Yeah.
In the short film within Automatic, Tonight I Strike, this is the one with the robot who's cutting the carrot.
Yeah.
Like, and you explained to me that to animate the hands and the fingers of that robot cutting the carrot, that's weeks of work.
Yeah.
Or maybe more.
Yeah. Yeah, it's literally, there's an actor doing that, and then that's like the stand-in, and then you just match that. It's called rotomation. You roto your 3D character on top of the real footage that you shot. So it's a good reference, but it's also a pain in the ass to remove the real person. So in my film, there's a sequence, the last film that you're in, there's a sequence with my kids in there, and they jump in my arms and they hug me. So I had to remove myself, and it's always the same thing with me because I know how to do it. Like in my head, I just like, it's gonna be easy. I just need to remove myself, and then I end up working like it took me 2 weeks to remove myself just to do that part. Because like there's one kid that jumps and like I just see her arm is like going over me. This one goes under me, and there's this my other kid does something different. It's like, oh my god, this is really complicated. So yeah, it was pretty heavy, and you still see some of my limbs in that shot that I color corrected to match my daughter's dress and all that. So yeah, if you look at it, you can see the mistakes are still there. They're just like hidden.
If you have a chance to watch Automatic, stream it on CBC Gem. Is it? You got to pay for that?
What is CBC Gem? It's free?
It's just their streaming service. It's free. I imagine if you're outside of Canada, you couldn't access it.
Exactly.
Oh,
but
VPN.
if you got,
There
so
you go.
let's, we got a VPN sponsor.
Yeah.
I think we should talk about.
Just imagine how authentic this ad break would have been right now.
Yeah. Jason Lucas VPN.
What?
Yeah, that's what it's called.
I got a lawyer up.
Yeah, there's a bunch of ads though, which is a bit annoying, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
okay.
watch the film if you have a chance, because I mean, if you sit in a movie theater and you're watching Avengers, what's the name?
Avengers?
The
Totally
biggest
haven't watched.
franchise ever.
You know, I don't know, when you sit down and you watch a Hollywood movie like that, it's expected it's going to be amazing because there's like a huge team. But when you sit and you watch this, knowing that this is mostly one dude, Dan, you're like, what? This is like insane. This is mental. And I just, even when I watch it to this day, I'm like, well, dude, this is crazy. This is crazy.
This is what you can do in 10 years. It's like, how did you do that? Oh, it took 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Sorry.
So you have been doing this for a while, though. You didn't just learn these skills on this film.
Yeah.
You have quite a few interesting movies in your IMDb. What the heck does that stand for?
Internet Movie Database.
There you go. Basically your resume.
Yeah.
And yeah, we looked it up.
Oh, you did?
And there's a few movies on there that we want to ask you about. You worked on District 9.
Yes.
Watchmen.
Yes.
Iron Man 2. Source Code.
The
never heard
worst.
of it. Doomsday.
Source Code's awesome.
Doomsday, never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
Sucks.
But I'm very curious about your work. And first of all, what is your profession? What do you do?
Well, back then I was a digital compositor, not a composer, like not music stuff, but compositor is like literally you get the footage, you get all the layers from 3D and some smoke effects and whatever, and you just combine everything so it fits within the shot. Because whenever you get 3D, it doesn't look good. Like, sorry, 3D artists, but it's like, it's always too saturated or whatever. It's close to what it should look like when it's sitting in the shot, but it's not there. You need to really massage it. And it's kind of like, sorry, I'm going to swear. It's called pixel fucking. Like you literally.
Whoa. Don't Google that.
No sexual, not sexual. But it's like, when I work as a compositor, you really like zoom in, like as close as you can in the shot. You look at the grain, the texture of the film stock, or the Alexa has a different grain, the red has a different noise pattern. You put that back into the 3D. I do that for our stuff that we do on Mahalo, by the way. Like it's like now it's natural for me to do it, to just look at those little details that no one would notice. But in the end, it feels like it's more integrated.
So we're all in the film world. We're all film buffs. We're all really smart here. Super smart.
We're all geniuses.
So
Some are smarter than others.
For our friends that aren't as smart, not me, explain like in the context of Iron Man 2, what you are doing in a certain scene.
I did this film was weird because it was like being edited while we were working on it, and I was living in Australia for that. That was really fun, by the way. Australia's awesome. And yeah, it was being edited, and I was working on the Scarlett Johansson sequence where she just kicks ass. She's all dressed in the black leather thing, and she's just in the hallway, and she just kicks ass. And I had to remove the dead bodies or add extra stuntmen that was supposed to be there. So it was working in context. We moved the wiring. It was just like tiny little things for that sequence. And then I did another sequence which was big VFX, big 3D, and it got cut too. So like I worked on it for a few months, and like there was like 2 or 3 of my shots that made it into the final edit, where I worked on like 15 or 20. So it's
How does that feel to
when I was
get
younger,
your work cut?
when I was younger, I was like, this is the worst. But now I'm older and I really don't care.
I mean, how did you react? Did you go? Were you like? Did you brush it off, or did you go home and cry? Did you?
No. I just brush it off. Like it's just like But that's the thing. Like this, the problem when you're in the industry, you're within the machine of jumping from one film to another, one studio to another. It's just you need those shots to get the next gig. But when they're cut from the movie, you cannot use them. So that's a problem. So I was like, oh shit.
So you worked on another film. You've worked on a few. Well, at this point, several projects with us.
Yeah,
which we'll get into. But one in particular looks like a session in which there's a Rorschach Test, and you did a little bit of animation on the Rorschach Test, which for those who don't know what that is, it's,
we cut that.
Yeah, we did cut that.
it was too bad.
That's so
Sorry,
good.
man.
I didn't
Did you
put
go
much
home and
effort.
cry?
Yeah, I did cry.
It's not because it wasn't good. It just didn't fit the story.
No, that's fine. I thought it was a bit off from the tone of the whole piece.
Nonetheless, Rorschach Test, for those of you who don't know what that is when you're with a therapist and they show you a blob of ink and they say, "What does this look like to you?" And you say, "It looks like my
Penis.
brother beating me when I was younger." And that's when I found out that you had worked on Watchmen, and specifically what you worked on was Rorschach, the character, and his face, which is a Rorschach ink blob. Yeah. And you animated his face. Tell me about that.
That was mostly integration and then some animation too. And yeah, that was 2008. That was a while ago. I'm old. And yeah, it was like mostly like integrations, and because the guy playing Rorschach has a hood on his face and two
like a
holes.
burlap sack or something.
Yeah, there's that 2 holes for his eyes and tracking markers, and the whole head is CGI. It's not just like the ink blots that we patch on top. It's like the whole head. So we had to really put it back on top, and it was a big integration nightmare because on a movie set, you have a bunch of lights doing different things. And when the actor moves around, especially in like intense scenes, when he's action scenes, the light does a bunch of different things. So some of these shots, I must have spent like weeks trying to just get the light exactly how it looks on set. So it's really, you look at it side by side, and for days and days and days, you just try and figure it out, and you animate like a key light, and you just paint a new one, and it's really intense. People don't know the amount of work that goes into like one shot.
No, I think what I realized speaking with you over the years now is that someone's one job throughout a movie could just be, okay, you're just working on his head, or you're working on his hand or something.
You're the dust guy.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there was at one point back in like early 2000s, you had to dust bust movies.
Oh, there you go.
It means like, because it was shot on film, and sometimes dust is going to get into the film gate and all that.
So chairs and stuff.
Yeah, some movies that were filled with dust. So you do your shot, and then, oh, by the way, you need to dust bust it, and you really go frame by frame, and you look at little artifacts that are just going to pop. And now with digital, you don't really get this problem anymore.
Right.
I just realized it's quite ironic. We're talking to a visual effects artist on an audio platform.
That's fine.
Hey, we got the video going.
There's a red going.
I think I noticed a big hair on the lens. Sorry, Dan, can you take care of that?
Yeah.
I'll take care of it. It's all good. It's
our hair
This
guy.
is what I do now.
Yeah, we'll cut it anyway.
I think a thing I've learned watching stuff about VFX artists is that so much of what you actually see, so they'll show behind the scenes footage, right? And there'll be like dots on a person's face or whatever. And I think as someone that's not, directly involved in VFX, you go like, oh, well, so they use all those parts and then they just kind of add to it. But the case is often like, no, they'll just replace the whole person. Yeah. Or the whole head or like whatever. Like they're actually using a lot less. And all of that is just like reference. Yeah. And sometimes I've heard it's worse than just not having a person there.
What do you mean? Like, oh, because you need to remove that
Yeah,
person?
like it actually, like, you know, they ended up doing it and it helped the performances, but it made it a lot harder and more work for VFX artists.
Well, that's the thing. That's why we do clean plates, and that's why we did that on Project One. Shout out to Project One. And yeah, that's when motion control gets really useful because you can repeat the same motion.
Right.
And but yeah, visual effects, like sometimes it's way easier to do everything in 3D.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, we need to add the extra 3D piece to this character, and they're like, oh, we have a digidouble of that guy, let's just use that. A digidouble is like whenever on especially big motion pictures, they just like 3D scan everyone in costume, no costume, in case A, they die, and B, it's really useful.
That's
or
morbid.
Like yeah, I know.
Paul Walker.
Paul Walker set the standard for that. Literally.
Damn.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But
And his brothers were the body doubles.
Exactly.
Right.
And then they digitized his face.
Yeah.
They used old footage and models to
Crazy.
recreate him.
Yeah, almost every shot in that Fast and Furious movie is like VFX Paul Walker.
Wait, so we don't actually
crazy.
have to be in the films?
Not anymore.
No.
We'll make a full CG film.
I don't actually
guys.
have
Don't
to
worry.
go biking anymore.
No.
We can just VFX that.
You can just play Super Nintendo every day.
Oh, my dream.
Yes.
We were talking about that actually yesterday, working on a future project of just an entire Mahalo My Dude video in like Unreal Engine. And Dan just makes us go ride like Whistler. And we just sit at home and do nothing.
That'd be amazing.
I would love to get like, I would love to do like a solid like 5 to 10 minute video that's all CGI.
You never address it.
And we just dump it.
Play completely.
No, we just call it like shredding at the Whistler Bike Park.
Yeah. This is going to get a lot of views too.
I love that, you're so talented. You can do really high-end visual effects work, but I get the most excited when I get to give you something that's just like make utter garbage. VFX garbage. Make it look intentionally
Make something really
crappy.
stupid.
It's really hard to do that now that I'm
Fine line.
Yeah, I need to really push myself to do like crappy stuff. I'm actually excited to do that.
Buddy.
Yeah, no, for real. But it's like, oh, I need to, whenever I look at stuff, I'm like, oh, I need to match the grain and motion blur is not right. So I need to not think about that.
You did a crappy fish in our channel trailer. For
Oh, yeah, that did.
Oh,
yeah,
that was crappy.
That was really
That was
crappy.
pretty good.
I thought it was pretty crappy. Yeah, it's great.
It was a crappy good. Crappy. Oh, but it went too fast. I just rented it once, like gave it to Matt. He was like, this is fine. Awesome. Thank you. Moving on.
I did want to ask for a revision, but I was like, I'll just do it myself.
You just reframed it.
And we cut that from the film. So
Tell us about your work on District 9. I've been curious about this. District 9 was a very influential film that I think came out of Vancouver. Most of it was worked on in Vancouver.
I didn't
Neil
do much
Blomkamp.
on District 9. I did a lot of the big robot at the end. Spoiler. There's like a big mech warrior suit. What's it called? The exosuit at the end. And I integrated that in a few shots. It was so good. Like the rendering of that. Like I was saying like 10 minutes ago that some of the 3D that comes out of the 3D department in most VFX shows kind of looks stupid and you need to really work it to make it work. But on District 9, it looks amazing right off the bat. And you just like to have to click, 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 add some bullet hits there and done. It was a really good project. Like District 9 and Watchmen were amazing films to work on. And then after that, I was like kind of done with Hollywood movies. I didn't care anymore. I'd rather do YouTube videos with you guys than any big Hollywood productions.
What was it that turned you off about these big Hollywood productions?
It's the sausage factory type of work that you just do one thing. Because yes, I can do compositing decently well.
Right.
But I'd rather, sometimes I have an idea, I'm just gonna make a game, or I'm gonna do 3D. I feel like doing robots now. So I'd rather do a bit of everything.
You said you worked in Australia?
Yeah, that was on Iron Man. That was fun. That was one of those fun gigs where you get shipped around and you just do the work. It was cool.
Why did you need to move to Australia?
Because the VFX studio was there. They were hiring. And I had some friends already working there. And they were like, Dan, you want a job? Absolutely. And they flew, like, it happened within like 4 days. I just like,
oh, wow.
Want a job? Yes. Signed the paperwork to get your visa. It took like, I don't know, maybe half a day. And I was booked and I was shipped. It was pretty weird.
So
and
did
cool.
you work in the studio? You
was-
have your own little office in a,
Yeah.
in a big studio?
Yeah, exactly. That studio doesn't exist anymore. Now it's called Animal Logic. It got bought off.
Now, what I remember you telling me about working in some girl's apartment.
Yeah, exactly.
That was that. This is
Yeah,
the
that
studio
was,
you're
that was
talking about?
it was
Go
so
on.
weird.
Tell us about that.
There was all the compositing team was because the studio got too big because those projects you need to ramp up, and that means like hiring a bunch of people like me to do more work, and they didn't have the space to do any of that, so they just rented the apartment next door, and it was this girl's apartment, and she still lived in it.
Go on.
So she just like got out of the shower with a towel. Sorry, boys.
We're going raw.
It's like, all right, this is.
You got pictures or phone number?
No,
or,
I kind of.
We're really into doxing people on this podcast.
That was like 12 years ago, so maybe I don't know.
postal code will be a good enough start for us.
There you go.
We'll talk after.
Oh, those were the
It was
days.
what was the neighborhood? I forgot.
Yeah, we're in Australia.
It was in Sydney, and I'm trying to remember the neighborhood.
Even like a color of a building would help.
Yes, anything, man.
Anything.
I'll take anything.
So you're a VFX artist, so you could like theoretically recreate that scenario.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Let's redo it.
So how many guys were living in her apartment or working in her apartment?
Yeah, it was like 12 of us, 15. It was weird.
How
What kind of
big is this
apartment was
apartment?
It was super warm too.
Super warm. And
Yeah.
did she just rent it? Like I'm wondering how that.
I don't know I don't know the logistics, but it was one of those weird moments in VFX. I think like 12, 15 years ago, VFX studios were pretty scrappy. Now it's more like fine-tuned and corporate. But back then, it was like there was some weird stuff
You're
happening.
giving me ideas.
Yeah.
How did you enjoy Australia?
It was pretty fun, but I worked too much to really enjoy it. But the beach I was living in Bondi Beach, so it was like super touristy, and the food was awesome. I really want to go back there. You guys have a trip plan or something?
I'd love to go to Gold Coast.
Oh,
and
Bondi Beach.
Let's go. You guys have a mountain bike trip plan?
shout out to any Australians out there listening. Love to come visit. That would be amazing.
Yes.
Also, anybody who wants to pay us. Any VPNs in Australia? And Tasmania, too. It's not quite Australia, but
Close enough.
yeah, more or
Close
less.
enough.
What's the difference, mate?
I might.
Maybe I have something I could play.
So what was your most enjoyable film in Hollywood? What biggest, most memorable moment, most rewarding project?
Watchmen, because there was this moment that studio doesn't exist anymore, and now it's another name. But anyway, yeah, we needed to really. It was crunch time. We needed to output a lot of shots, and they were like, "We're gonna give you $200 per shot that you final for the next week." So everybody grinded really hard. It was a good incentive, and we just like stayed until like 2 or 3 in the morning, and they just bought us cheeseburgers from McDonald's. It was not really unhealthy, but like I wouldn't recommend doing that at my age now. But it was pretty, yeah, it was kind of fun actually, like early 20s.
Free cheeseburgers?
Yeah, free
Yeah.
cheeseburgers and money. It pushes you to work a bit harder to like get all those shots final by like the director. It was Zack Snyder, so it needed to be Zack finaled. So that's and he's pretty nitpicky and stuff. Like all those little details I talked about, the film grain, the motion blur, and all that shit. And he watches.
He's
all
aware
that.
of it.
He's aware of all that stuff. So yeah, you're kind of aware of all that stuff too.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, but I mean I mean that in a good way. Like you need to be really picky because I can miss stuff because I work on something for like a week or a day or whatever, so I kind of tune out most of it.
Yeah.
So you need to
Good to
somebody
have
else.
fresh eyes.
Exactly.
Well, not to make you feel old or anything.
That's
I mean,
fine.
you're not that old. You're 6 years older than me.
I'm like the only certified dad cam operator here.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah, true.
The true dad operator. Not to make you feel old here, but when you told me that you had worked on Watchmen, my mind was blown because I remember in high school watching that movie in theaters, and I'm not much of a superhero kind of movie guy, if you can call it a superhero movie.
Yeah.
But I remember I really enjoyed it. It was really wicked. And just to know like that I was in high school, just, you know, being an idiot.
I
and
think I
you're,
was
like,
just in my
doing
mom's
that work.
belly at that point.
Hey,
It was
yo.
like, Barely
watching
a thought.
Watchmen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel old all the time now. It's
Just
okay.
to know that you were working on that while I was like, practicing my trigonometry or something. It's just
No,
that's
you were
cool.
No,
you
you
were
were-
killing it on YouTube back then.
I don't know if I was, man. I don't think so.
That was your popsicle stick phase when you were making stop motion.
Chasing that high.
Yeah. But despite all these cool things that you worked on, you've had humble beginnings growing up in Quebec.
Quebec, à Magog.
What was it? Where is Magog? Tell us about Magog. Put Magog on the map.
Yeah, shout out to Magog. It's near the Vermont border. So if you guys know Jay Peak, and it's also for mountain bike folks, it's right next to Bromont, the mountain bike park.
Okay.
And yeah, there's not a lot of those in Quebec, lift access bike parks. So yeah, it was it's actually it's pretty nice. Like there's good mountains, good skiing, not a lot of biking except for Bromont, but yeah, it's decent. And
This is
I don't know.
the
I don't know. I
nicest-
don't really know what to say
You've
about
never
Mega.
said such nice things about your hometown before.
Yeah, I know.
You're on a mic.
I know.
Come on,
I'm
let's hear what it's really like.
Google it.
I love the
fine, fair enough.
I love the soundboard.
How many
No.
people live there? This is a small town, right?
Google it.
It's like 20,000, I'd say, but it's mostly I don't know what's the amount of people, but it's like 50,000 in summer. It's very touristy, but it's an old city. Like it's not. I don't mean old like it. Well, it's been around for a long time, but it's older than Vancouver, but it's still like it's older people that live there.
Boomers.
A lot of boomers, lots of retired
Call
people.
them what they are.
Yeah, but it's a lot of retired people. It's a good retiree for a good place to retire, and I'm not ready to retire yet.
So-
And it's no coincidence that you're so talented with computers. You were into computers when you were super young, and if I'm not mistaken, your mom worked at Dell.
She worked at Bell.
Bell.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, you're getting a bell.
Bell and
One letter
Dell.
off.
Yeah, you
But she was very involved in computers, and she put you onto it, and
Yeah.
you were just like a whiz. I mean, some of the things that you tell me you were doing when you're 8 years old, like
It was-
on computers, I'm like, what? I didn't even know how to use them.
Did you beat Minesweeper?
I didn't. I didn't
still
understand
barely
it.
understand
Like,
it.
what is this? But it's like my mom got the first computer in the house, and I was like, how did this work? And
How old were you?
7 or 8, but it was like all DOS based. It's like the backbone of Windows basically, so text. So I kind of worked my way into that to play games. I really wanted to play Doom or Duke Nukem and those really very recent games. And as I looked at my older cousins, they would like come to my place and they would install a bunch of games. I looked at them how they did it, and I kind of try and figure it out. And I broke the computer so many times. And then after that, I learned about my dad bought a camera, and I kind of learned how to put video in Premiere. Like I got Premiere illegally.
Sorry, what age was this?
Sorry.
Wait, yeah. What?
No. I bought Premiere. Sorry, legally. That's what I meant to say. And
How old were you?
I was like 12. And then
I wasn't even aware Premiere existed.
yeah,
same.
it was like Premiere
12, man.
1.5, 2
And
or
that,
something.
that was like 1979.
That was
it?
easy. Yes.
It was steam powered, correct? Yes, I remember the days.
Oh, that was the good old days. But
Lovely.
yeah, so and then I worked because it was a VHS camera, so you had to plug it in like the dad cam. You have to plug it into the graphics card, hit record in Premiere, play in the camera. So that's how I learned about like all the ins and outs of filmmaking and how to work with basically footage.
What were you
With the computer.
filming?
Jackass stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Stunts?
Yeah, stunts. My buddies just jumped around and I just filmed it.
That's amazing.
Unscattered.
Any injuries?
No, not at all. It was all good. But yeah, actually, no, yeah, all good.
You grew up around computers, video games. What are some of your favorite video games? Because you have
I gave you my favorite video game.
okay,
and you
yeah.
hate it.
yeah.
Which one was it?
I have a Super Nintendo here. I had to buy the legit thing. I didn't want the new modern tiny Super Nintendo. I needed the real deal. And I have quite a few games that were my brother's originally. Still have them, hung on to them for years. Glad I did that. And then Dan has gifted me 2 games now. One is Out of This World, and the other one is Flashback. Games that nobody knew existed.
Which is the absurd one that you made me try to play, and I wanted to kill myself?
That's Out of This World,
Yeah.
but the
Oh
other
my
one is very
God.
similar.
Do you know about this, Jason? Do you know about this game?
Is that the one where if like you die, you go all the way back to
Yeah.
the beginning? Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, it is the most.
It's like an avant-garde video game. It's so strange.
It's a piece of art.
Yeah,
That's what
exactly.
It is visually quite amazing. I never seen anything like that. The closest thing would be like Star Fox, like the original Star Fox. How it's kind of like 3D world, but it's in it's a Super Nintendo. It's 2D, right?
It's rotomation again. Like they film people and then they did
Right.
shapes on top to get all this realistic animation for Super Nintendo. That's why I was mind blown when I played those games when I was younger. And I remember like Out of This World, I rented it like 5 times. And I never finished the first level until like I finally cracked it. I was like, oh, and then I kind of pushed through. But it's so much trial and error. You need to be like really young and have nothing else to do to figure that
Have you
out.
ever played the game Flower?
No. Oh yeah,
It
yeah,
was
yeah.
a
On
PlayStation
PS, yeah.
3 game, and it was basically like playing a screensaver. So you literally start. You're like the wind, and you literally start by like manipulating one leaf, and then you just fly around and you pick up like more leaves and flowers and stuff, and then all of a sudden you're this big like thing of like this big trail of like leaves and flowers and like in the wind, and it's so like calming, but it's like a video game but not a video game. And my friends would come over and be like, what are you doing? I'd be like, I'm playing Flower. And they're like, what the fuck are you doing?
Just say you're jerking off, dude.
Like that would be less embarrassing.
That'd be less embarrassing. So wait, can you win, or is it just like?
I think I won, but it was like very artsy and like very calming music. Like it reminded me of there's an old game called Myst.
Oh yeah,
Myst and Riven.
that's puzzle.
yeah.
So it's kind of like
those.
puzzle based, but also very like abstract and strange.
If you love to pull your hair out, look up Out of This World. You could even just YouTube it, but it's big spoilers because it's like you got to know how to solve the game. But
These games are both out on iPhone and Android.
Oh really?
Yeah, but you're playing the real OG stuff.
You're gonna be like,
Fuck my life.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Big time. Big time.
But it's so cinematic. Like that's what I love about those games. It's like it's playing a movie, but like Super Nintendo level.
it's an acquired taste.
Yeah.
So what
Really
was the moment? I think I know the answer to this, but I want to see if we match up here. What was the moment that you decided I want to make films?
Oh, you know. Yes, you do. Terminator 2, 8 years old or 7. And then it was people that you haven't seen it.
I want to meet you when you were 8 years old.
Yeah.
Man. I wish I could go back in time.
I remember watching all the making ofs. Like it was playing on TV back then. I watched all the making ofs about Terminator 2 after like
Terminator.
the 2.
working on my French.
Terminator 2.
That was really impressive.
Le retour. Non, c'est quoi? Yeah, Terminator 2, le jugement dernier. That's the title. Judgment Day or something.
I'll be back.
Yes, thank you. And it was so good, and I was mind blown. And it's like I've been on this single track. That's a mountain bike pun. For all my life.
That's a
since
train
I watched.
pun, really.
Yes, yeah, I guess it's a train pun. Shit, I blew it. But yeah, it's been that. It's been like that all my life. Like that's all I've been chasing that high.
The liquid metal man from
Yeah,
T2.
dude. Well, it's just like
Oh,
the
spoiler.
filmmaking is on.
What's that?
No.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Matt hasn't seen it.
You've never seen anything about that movie?
Boy, there we go. Movie shame.
No, that's fine.
I've never seen. I have downloaded it. Okay,
Oh.
it's on my hard
Wait,
drive.
legally?
Of course,
Yeah.
absolutely.
As you do with movies, it's all legal.
I have it. I have Terminator and Terminator 2. It's just queued up. I got a lot of other bangers first. Okay, like The Lion King and Titanic. And all right.
Definitely
you have-
watched Terminator 1 before.
Yeah.
Well, Dan told me just to watch Terminator 2.
Well,
forget 1.
That's incorrect.
if you want to be in my mindset of 8-year-old, like I watched the second one first. But,
I would say it really doesn't matter. That
yeah, it doesn't
much.
matter. Like it's just amazing. Both films are amazing.
I'm gonna watch Jingle All the Way first, and
Good.
then
Yes.
and then watch Terminator 2.
Yeah, there you go.
Your references are out of control. Everyone knows that.
Yeah. I'm movie shame with Matt Dennis.
That should be a corner, like a corner of the podcast where we select a movie. We don't know if you've seen it or not, and then we bring it up and talk about it for 20 minutes.
It's gonna happen a lot.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea.
Yeah,
do that.
I have a note on my phone. I think I've inspired a lot of people with this. It's just a list of movies that I gotta watch. And anytime someone in conversation brings up a movie that I haven't seen, immediately I pull up my phone and I write it down. Because if I don't write it down, I'm gonna forget. And there's a lot of people around me that have done the same now. They're like, oh yeah, that's smart. You can do it. The thing is, you got to actually watch the movies.
Yeah.
I get mad when you tell me a certain movie you've watched because you haven't watched so many good ones, and I'm like, you went out of your way to watch Nacho Libre. I'm like, what the fuck? You haven't watched Terminator 2 and you watched Nacho Libre. Gotta hit it.
I had to watch something with my niece, man. Come on.
Okay. Terminator 2 is perfect for that.
Yeah, that's a niece movie.
Yeah, she needs to learn.
And I like comedy.
Tons of laughs in Terminator 2.
It's pretty funny.
There?
There's some really good funny moments.
All right.
In between all the violence.
Well, I talked over that soundbite.
Wait.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Worth it. I find your influences and from your youth very interesting. I also, every time I come over, there's a book by your computer. And you've told me about this book and you try to explain it to me, but I just don't think that I'll quite get it. I'm very curious for you to speak on this, but La Classe Américaine.
La Classe Américaine. Oh, dude, that's my favorite movie in the world. Like, I'm so sad that none of you gets it. Like, because you guys are so funny and so talented. And the sound is weird now.
I think you just pissed Jason off.
No.
I've never seen it.
No, because
You haven't seen it, dude?
Oh, it's in French. I don't want to watch
Movie
it.
shame.
Oh, it's in French. Yeah.
Is it me or it sounds a bit echoey now? Oh, I think it's fine. But yeah, it's my favorite. It's the best. C'est le meilleur, putain. But yeah, it's a film made in France. It's all old Warner Brothers movie stitched together to remake Citizen Kane about a guy called Georges Abitbol that he dies. And when he dies, he says, the world is shit. And then he dies. So all those journalists are like, what did he mean by the world is shit? So we need to figure it out. So it's like Dustin Hoffman and Robert Redford from other movies like the Nixon investigation. And
All the President's Men.
Exactly. Thank you. And it's that movie stitched together with a bunch of other movies that these guys made. And these are all like to justify that they're in a different movie. They're disguised to do the investigation. But anyway, it's all flashbacks. It's amazing. And then, that's the best part. It was redubbed with all the French voice actors that dubbed those actors back in the day.
Oh, wow.
So you got John Wayne, the guy in France that dubbed John Wayne, and they just wrote this movie. It's just the dumbest thing. It makes no sense, and it's just so funny.
I feel like it's way ahead of its time to do something with that kind of like template, just to take some other projects stitched together.
Yeah.
And
remix a full feature film.
You could do that with Dune, maybe.
Yeah, we will do Dune. Dune will suffer.
And you want to describe what I'm talking about?
Dan was very excited to watch Dune on our writing retreat to Hornby Island. And it was okay.
It was okay.
And the whole time I'm watching it, but this is every movie. I'm just like thinking of jokes, like just picking it apart. I don't know, like let alone looking at the lighting, trying to figure out the camera angles. Like I'm unable to watch it just as like dialogue. I'm like literally like listening to it as if it's a script on paper. I'm a bit of a freak, but yeah, I was just saying that like you can memeify the whole movie, like every single scene. Like just take the movie. Legally download it.
Hey yo.
And every single scene you need to like find a joke or like do some sort of VFX. Like my example was when there's like one of the I don't know any names in the movie, but there's they're talking about how like the natives, like how they move through the desert and they cover up their own tracks in the sand.
The Fremen.
Fremen?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And And how that, yeah, they cover up their own tracks. And there's like, at one point, there's like a hologram and they're teaching, someone's like being trained, like, this is how you walk. And I just pictured right away, like,
was it Paul?
Yeah, Paul.
right away, I pictured, instead of that hologram of the person, like they're kind of doing this, like this movement with their feet. And it just looked like Drake's Toozy slide. And I was like, you just replace Drake on that hologram. There's a little meme in the scene. And like, you know, you could like take out a character, paint him out. You know, there's a scene where some guy walks out of the room, but instead you like green screen on like a new person and he just like hits the wall or forgets to open the door first or something. Just like memeify the whole movie. So it's like super funny. You know, you could put like new like voiceover, anything, whatever you can think of, and then you get famous for just memeifying Dune.
This is essentially Spaceballs. Like
Yeah.
this is what Spaceballs
Or like
did.
Top Secret or any
Exactly.
of those
But that's
spoof
an
movies.
actual movie, and they have real actors, and it's all
No, I know what
scripted.
you- I
But
know what
I'm
you're
just saying,
saying.
like you
But
make
they're-
like the TikTok version,
Yeah,
you know, you just meme it.
It'll
So
happen.
we're watching this epic movie in the dark, you know, lots of loud noises,
Holding
and
each other's hands.
holding each other's hands and other parts. And Matt's like, "Oh fuck, this could get memed so hard." We're all like engrossed in the story. We're like, cinema at its finest. And he's like, "So Drake fucking slides in here."
Oh, it's tough being a creative genius, guys. It's tough.
Man. We need to do that. Like that's in my to-do list now. We need to erase
Dune
Timothée Chalamet and put Matt in there, and he just learns about the Drake dance. And
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of creative genius, let's talk about our work.
yes,
Let's
Finally.
Let's talk about ourselves. So you've worked on a number of projects with us. Now, Dan, someone asked me the other day, how did you guys meet? And I was like, I have no idea. And so I went into
I remember.
Gmail. I went into Gmail and I found our first email exchange.
really? Oh,
Yeah. And
Did you frame it?
it was pretty funny because I think that Brooke was talking to you. I was like, hey, Brooke, I'm too busy. Do you think you could email this guy for me? So it was like Brooke and you talking at first.
This
And
idiot.
then I slid in. And so yeah, I read the emails and I had two things to say. We don't speak that professionally to each other anymore, nor are we that polite to each other. And number two, fuck you.
Thank you. I love that.
But we just emailed each other and I asked you to work on our wheel and our
I
intro.
texted you on Instagram.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what happened.
texted on intro. You sound like a
DM.
dad, dude.
Yeah.
Fuck, sorry.
Okay.
I DM'd you, like you put a story out that you needed a
yeah.
motion graphics designer. I was like, you don't need a motion graphics designer. You need me.
That's
And
a good way to get in.
I was like,
Immediately correct the
like,
client.
no.
This guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
But I knew you guys from you. I knew you guys from your videos on the internet, and I was like, these guys look fun. So whenever I found that on Instagram, I was like, I need to get on that, no matter what, like the cost or whatever. I was like, I'm just gonna do it.
And there was no cost, that's for sure. No, there was. We actually did pay you to make the wheel and our intro,
no,
and it
it's
was sick.
We're going raw.
It's kind of cool, eh?
Dude, I mean, that was the beginning of you just constantly impressing me. Like, holy crap, this is like, it doesn't get better than this. Like, it literally doesn't get better than this.
I didn't know Dan made that.
It's like,
Yeah.
I remember you telling me, oh, it's gonna be like what's Wheel of Fortune, like Wheel of Nor. I was like, oh, that's so funny. I'm in.
Well, yeah. So for those of you who don't know, we had a little series called The Wheel and Nar. That was our little interview. It was like our podcast before the podcast.
It was, yeah.
And we had like a little like intro where the wheel comes in, it spins. You recreated our spinning wheel. Exactly.
It was pretty close, I think. You sent me some pictures as reference, and I just redid it.
It was amazing.
I'm pretty good at, like, I'm really good at everything, but I'm good at looking at something and recreating it. That I can do pretty easily.
So that was the beginning of many projects. Then we worked on Super Caliber, which we shot in Italy. Sorry,
yeah.
you didn't get to go to Italy, but
Yeah, hopefully
you
next
got to
time.
edit the footage.
Yeah, I did some. There was some good VFX, not the best, but Project One's definitely the best stuff I've done.
Well, on Super Caliber, you did some cool stuff, though. I mean, you like you helped me like transform the world into some kind of fairy tale like world, and you had flowers popping up, and I was just asking like crazy things from you, and not knowing whether you could do it or not. But the thing was, you really impacted my career by always being, in a positive way, a yes man by saying anything is possible. Anything is possible. So I would always, limit myself to what, I would just try to be realistic with what we could accomplish and not come up with crazy ideas because it's like, why bother thinking of it? But then you allowed me to kind of break the barrier and suggest like, well, how about this? How about this? And throw anything at the wall. And then you would, from there tell me like, it's,
It was literally my plan. Like, this is not a joke. Like, I wanted to help you expand your ideas. That was the goal. That's why I'm here for.
This is why your last name's God.
God. Hey, yo.
We also worked on Once Daily Bikes, our pharmacy kind of parody, where
that was so hard.
We dived into wire removal, and I learned about fishing line.
Yeah, it was my idea to do the box for real. It's gonna look way better.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just remove the wires.
Do it from
Oh my god, what
VFX,
a mistake.
You're like, nah, just do it for real.
But it looks
so we
better.
have like a pill box that opens and we just wanted to completely 3D it. And then you were like, yeah, let's just do it. And I thought you were just kind of being lazy. Like, I don't want to do it for real.
It looks way better.
It does look better. You were right.
Dude, it looks awesome. And it's like, you don't get those like little quirks, the cardboard just like bouncing a bit. And like, no, when you do it in 3D, you need to like, it would have taken me weeks to get like that, all those nice simulations of like, to make it feel real. But yeah, I think it's way better for real.
It was also my first little intro to pre-visuals because you made an animatic of how the box should open in real life. And that was super useful to show people, here, this is what we're going to do and this is how it opens.
Oh, I did? Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, this is that must have taken me like 10 minutes. But see, it's like, that's what I'm always preaching previs.
The other day I took a meeting with a production company here in Vancouver and they let me know that the box from our pharma ad was used in their decks and like in their work.
Really?
They ripped us off.
Oh my god.
Wait, what does that mean?
What does that mean?
Yeah, like, what do you mean? They
like they were just, I think they were making a project of, it was some sort of pill.
Oh, they use ours as a reference.
Yeah, they used
in the pitch deck.
Legitimately rip us off.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if like the box was just left in the studio and they're like, oh, this is cool.
That's what I thought at first.
I did leave it in the studio for like a week.
I don't need this. Where's that box, by the way? Where is it?
Huh?
The big Trek box, the big pill box.
I like divided it into 4, packed it up, and sent it to Waterloo in Wisconsin to the
Trek
Trek headquarters. Yeah.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, nice. I tried every project we do with Trek. I tried to give them back a gift from the project.
A memento.
A
sorts.
memento.
Yeah.
Here's some cardboard.
Hey, have you seen that movie?
Memento. I have seen Memento. Is that the one that plays back and forth? Or like no, it's plays in reverse. Or yeah.
The first scene is the last scene, and
Right. Yeah.
etc.
So confusing.
Pretty cool. You also in Pharma you did the like ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
That's what I was thinking of first.
Yeah.
that was a bad VFX.
The man
work.
Yeah,
the,
that was.
The man was the best part.
Yeah.
The man is fun.
He gets
So
like
we,
all pumped
we
up.
have in pharmaceutical ads, you often have a human body, and it shows where
I like how you're like, like people can see you now, and you're like doing the whole thing.
you can see it.
I mean,
You can see it.
some people can.
Yeah.
T-pose. That's what you're
making
doing.
a T-pose.
Make a T-pose. Sorry, yeah, I guess some people are just audio. Arms outstretched.
Okay, we're new to podcasting, everybody.
You know what? Just watch it on YouTube.
Just do it. Explain it. Come on.
So,
Today, Junior.
there's going to be... I don't know. I lost my train of thought.
Why?
I don't know. Dan did good work on Pharma. Moving on.
No, you were saying
We had a creepy face. We had a guy, and he was supposed to be, it was like the pain sensors, but instead of pain, it was bikes going into his brain. And then he had a really creepy face, and it was so creepy. And I thought it was hilarious. And then Trek was like, maybe
too
a bit
creepy.
creepy. Can you dial it back? And we're like, all right, we'll take 1 frame off the end. So he's on screen for slightly less time. And they were like, fine.
because he just like the eyes glow and just like.
We told them that like you got to have something that's a bit weird and stands out that makes people go, wait, what the heck, and kind of stops them in their tracks a little bit, right? Like you gotta make people feel a little bit uncomfortable.
I'm always pushing to go weirder because 99% of ads you watch, just everything is as expected.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're just going to be bored. And so we're always trying to.
Comedy is all about the element of surprise and
it's like a
creating
magic
unexpected
trick.
turns. Yeah.
So and then we did that, and then we do Project One.
Yeah, Project One.
And a bunch of
which
little
is
things for YouTube.
Yeah.
which is the biggest pain and tuchus that we have ever taken a part of.
You also did the squirrel in
Yes.
Time to Buy
That's
Anybody.
that.
Oh yeah.
I'm happy to how that
Just
turned out.
repeated the
Yeah.
movement.
Yeah, it's like
That's a great one.
it kind of like
That's the definition of anything is possible.
yes.
Wait. So
Matt
for
was
the
like-
audience,
Yeah.
spoiler alert: the squirrel at the end of our video, "Time to Buy an E-Bike," is fake.
Yeah.
Even the
showed
sun, the sun that comes through a little bit is fake.
Yeah.
Right.
I just added some God rays.
But I showed that to people, and some of them were like, "How'd you time that squirrel?" I was like, "Well, it was a professionally trained squirrel." So,
What do you
Yeah.
expect? We got the
Squirrely
little
McNuts,
tables.
He's one of the best in the biz.
yeah.
That's Squirty McNuts in Vancouver. You can email him.
Let's talk about Project One.
Yeah, let's.
Project One just dropped, and it's the biggest undertaking I think we've ever undertaken.
Is that
Perfect English.
Is that the past of undertaken? Undertaken? No.
I tried to intro Project One twice, and I messed up my English. It was a huge project, and basically what it involved was, man, it evolved so much. Literally talk about this whole project for one
Yeah.
whole podcast.
it could be a podcast.
Podcast 1.
But we had bikes in space. We had them hanging on fishing lines, so we had to do a bunch of fishing line removal. We had a green screen, and we needed to create space in the back. Like this guy's room was taking off into space as if it was a spaceship. We needed to do camera shake, and then the biggest pain in the butt was our confetti.
Yeah.
We had to frame by frame. Well, not we. I'm saying we. It was Dan.
That's
frame
fine.
by frame.
We as a team.
Yeah. We had to
Team Dan.
Team Dan.
frame by frame paint out confetti.
Yeah.
And when you have green confetti on a green screen, that equals a lot of problems.
Yeah.
So-
It's not like it was a surprise for me. I saw the first time Kaz did use the confetti cannon, and I saw them fly away. I was like, ooh, there's a lot of green ones in there. This is going to be a problem. And I just didn't say it
Classic
because I was
Kaz.
like, why would, like, everybody, this huge team is out there just making it happen. Like, oh, guys, the green confetti, that's not going to work. Let's redo the takes.
Eventually someone brought it up, and we were all aware.
Yeah.
And then also, like, one of the lighting guys was like, hey, if this is in space and the bikes are floating, how come the confetti falls to the ground? I'm like, no more questions
Yeah.
from the lighting crew.
Okay, you just work on the lights. We'll figure out the logic
Stay
here.
in your lane.
So true, though.
But it,
Son of a bitch.
it's you need, like, it's fine. It's an ad. It can be whatever the hell we want. Like, it's like
exactly.
it's our own little world. We do what we want. The bikes are floating because the bikes are awesome.
Movie logic.
I like
movie logic.
how that was like the one hole to poke. It's like not that the whole shed blasted off into space. And he's like,
All right, so you had me. I was on board for that. Once that confetti wasn't moving in the right direction, I was out.
That felt pretty unreal.
So it's so long ago that I started this project. It was before COVID, and was coming up with all sorts of different ideas. And then I don't know. I think, talked to some friends to figure out where I could possibly take this. It was shout out to my friend Leo, who was helping me a lot, just trying to conceptualize something. And then I watched. I don't know where it even came from, but maybe I just watched The Simpsons Space Chip scene, and then watched Space Odyssey scene with the song "The Blue Danube." That's the and I don't know. I just thought, let's just do some bikes floating in space. And without you, it would not have been possible. You saying, anything is possible, allowed that project to happen. And it also would not be possible without the previs that you made. So you basically made that commercial fully in animation beforehand, and then we just screen cap that visual, that animatic, and then made a shot list from it. And it was
That's the goal. Like, it's so visually complicated, and it's so hard to just visualize everything. Even though it's in your head, you're the filmmaker, you see it. It's so intricate. There's so many moving parts that just like doing it like that in Unreal as the previs is like a rough 3D animation. Like it doesn't look nice, but it gives you a good approximation of like your framing and your timing per shot. And that's when you kind of see, you try everything when you do previs, so you can see what works and what doesn't right away. So when you're on set, you're less prone to mistakes.
Yeah, I've heard that when talking about films, people say the film already exists in your head. You just need to ask questions about it until, you know, more questions you can ask about it, the better it'll turn out, because you already know how to attack these problems.
Mm-hmm.
And I find that one of the most challenging things about making films is the communication and taking the idea from your head, putting it onto paper, then putting it onto a different piece of paper in storyboard form, and just getting everybody on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're pretty much, it seems like we're doing previs animatics for everything.
Well, if it helps, man, I mean, let's do it. That's the idea.
John Mulaney has a joke about how he's bad at sports. And he says, you know, I understand like how one would do a layup with a basketball, but then I have to outsource it from my brain to my body, and that's where it gets lost. And it's like when you're making a film, it's kind of like, I understand how it should work and how it should look, but then you have to outsource it to collaborators and other restraints and everything else. So I always think that's
pretty accurate.
It's a good metaphor.
It's very true. You guys haven't talked about my past and mountain bike movies and everything, and we're already an hour in.
Okay.
Whoa.
Dan
You're the
just
interviewee.
off a whole bunch of stuff. He got nervous that we're ending, and he didn't get to talk about Brandon
All right, that's all the
Semenuk
time
yet.
we have.
Hey, yo.
Dan
for
loves to
today.
talk about how he
Brandon.
knows Brandon Semenuk. They're best friends. He goes over to his house. You're super cool. He watched my film. Get on with it, Dan.
That's
how
not
cool
true,
is Brandon Semenuk?
but-
What does he smell like?
He's awesome. He smells delicious.
Wow.
Hi, Brandon. If you watch this, listen, watch. I
No
don't know.
chance.
No chance.
Yeah, you will.
We're an hour and 8 minutes in. No way.
Yeah. But no, like I really literally started, one of my first mountain bike project was with Brandon. That was like Rad Company.
It's a great movie.
It's no, not Rad Company. Life Behind Bars.
That's a
And
great series.
Yeah,
Awesome
there you go.
series. So you lived in Roslyn working with Free Ride Entertainment?
I lived in Roslyn working with. It's actually Scotty Carlson from Juicy Studios in Roslyn that introduced me to Freeride. And then after that, it just like started working on and off with these guys, and they needed help with the Life Behind Bars intro. That was, they had to blow up a car, and Brandon had to be like riding his bike in a pool and a bunch of weird, funny stuff. So like, of course I'll do it. And like whenever I get I was living in Quebec back then, and I always get the opportunity to go to Whistler. I'm always like, yes, absolutely. And when it's on company money, it's even better. But anyway, I went there, and I had no idea who Brandon was, who Logan Pete was there, Our Dog was there,
All the legends.
Intern.
Yeah, intern.
And all these guys that were there, and I have no clue who any of these guys are. And I did the work, and we had fun. It was, and then it's only after that I started watching like Red Bull Rampage and watching the actual show that I worked on. Like, oh, these guys are actually really good at this. I should start riding bikes more. And I think that, and since then I've been doing a lot of mountain bike projects with Freeride, and with Brandon directly when he started doing his Revel
In the Chaos?
Well, Rebels is his company, and Revel in the Chaos was like the first film.
Right.
And he came in like just at the right moment. Like I was really struggling financially when he started Revel, and I just emailed him like, yo, dude, remember me? I worked on Rad Company and Life Behind Bars. You need help with this? He was like, yeah, I do. And then that started the collaboration. Like I did like 5 or 6 of those short films with Rupert and Brandon.
That was mostly visual effects.
Yeah,
or
all
what?
visual effects work, and also like hiding a lot of. It's always those simple things, but well, for Revel in the Chaos, it was there was lots of fire happening, so I kind of retimed the fire. So whenever Brandon like hits a berm, and then the fire goes up at the right moment and all that, so it feels more.
You mean it was fake?
It's all fake. No,
Oh!
all his writing is fake.
You just ruined that movie for a lot of the kids.
What do you mean about hiding stuff?
Also, like drone operators, camera,
like in the frame, they shouldn't be there.
Yeah, always happen in those big movies where there's like 5 cameramen because these guys do one trick and you need to capture it at that moment because they might not be able to do it again. So yeah, it was a lot of that, and we did a Subaru commercial, 2 Subaru commercials. Those were awesome, and yeah, it's just like fun projects to be around. That kind of gave me the idea of like, I kind of just want to do that. It's one of the reasons I'm with you guys now. It's just
with much less talented mountain bikers.
To me, it's all the same. But
Whoa, speak for yourself.
Hey, yo. But yeah, it's just been, it's just fun.
What's it like working with Brandon? I know that he's a very creative person beyond his bicycle, and he loves photography, loves videography.
He's super educated in filmmaking, which is very fun to talk about, like we do right now, talk about film stuff, lenses and cameras, and how we should approach one angle. It's very fun to talk about this stuff with Brandon. He's very in tune with it, and yeah, it's just fun to talk with someone that's passionate about his work. Like I can feel it, and yeah, I feel you guys are on the same level with your work.
Not riding with.
Like not with films. I hate films.
We still got the 5 camera angles though to capture one bar turn.
Exactly. So you guys are still friends?
Can we come over?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we saw Automatic.
Oh
yeah.
You watched Automatic?
He's one of the first person that saw it. He was like, the film, the last movie with Matt, that was the worst one. Actually, he was like, he
knows my name.
He was like,
so you're saying there's a chance?
No, yeah, there's a chance. He's like, Brandon, come to do a segment on Mahalo, my dude, please. But no, it's just he saw it and you got some great feedback, which I really respect that. I really appreciate.
The dust was off. Think you got to work on that.
Yeah, he's like, yo. There was some photographers in the background, but no, but it's just like this. What got me started in the mountain bike industry, and back in 2012, and that was a long time ago. And I haven't stopped working in mountain bike stuff since then, even though I didn't ride bikes. Hey yo, I just started when I moved to Vancouver. I can't afford a bike. Sorry.
So you do a lot of cool stuff, and there was probably some kids out there wondering, how do they get into doing something that you do? And, I think often the first thought is, well, I got to go to school, and film school and visual effects school. That's expensive. Like I know here, if you want to go to Vancouver Film School, it's like $50,000 or more.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean, I don't know.
It's probably
some sort of programs, $50,000.
Didn't you go at Vancouver Film School?
No, I did the digital film program at Langara. It was like a continuing studies thing. It wasn't like, I don't know, I went to school with like 35-year-olds, 40-year-olds. Like it was kind of a different type of thing. Right. It wasn't even at the actual campus. It was like a small little office building on Broadway.
Really?
Yeah.
Some guy's basement.
Yeah. Who was all smelly.
Here, watch Citizen Kane. I'm going to go smoke a cigarette.
Hey, kid, take your clothes off.
Hey. But, okay. But no, don't go to, well, you can go to film school. It depends. Everybody learns in a different way. But now kids are so lucky. They have access to YouTube, and it's filled with tutorials about absolutely everything, every aspect of filmmaking, from writing all the way to post-production. Like you can learn anything by doing, and just like, oh, I don't know how to do that. Just watch a YouTube video and you'll get it. Yeah, it's you don't need to go to school. I wouldn't advise to go to school, but I'm going to be a teacher at Capilano University if you want to get in my course about virtual production.
You're going to be a teacher?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I just
super
signed
cool.
the paperwork yesterday.
Wow. That'll be a short commute for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
But yeah, just because of that, like it's going to be very like high-end filmmaking with Unreal Engine and motion capture gear and all that. But still, yeah.
So you just told everybody not to go to film school.
Except for my
but,
class.
I'm going to be a teacher, by the way.
By the way, so go in my course. But no, it's like if you're starting, just do that. Just use your phone, get some shots. If you're gonna add some VFX in it, just put it on your computer and figure it out. It's pretty simple. Like you want a 3D camera track, just punch in that. And now with your phone using the accelerometer in there, you can 3D track while filming, which I did on automatic a bunch. You can literally do that. You don't have, and then you can put your 3D element in there. You have a camera, it spits out a camera. You get Blender, it's free. Like all the softwares are free now. It's amazing. It's an amazing time to do.
What are some techniques that you would suggest for a young, or not necessarily a young person, anybody who wants to get into VFX?
Yeah.
For example, I remember when I was starting, I wanted to know how you would make text kind of, white behind a person, like a person walked in front of the text, and that was, I had no idea how to do that. And then, years later, I found out, it's just cropping. That's it. And add a little feather to it. Or what else did I do? One thing was I looked up on YouTube how to do a Kamehameha energy ball. So I filmed myself in the backyard and just followed a tutorial step by step. And I don't know how to do that anymore, but it taught me something in the process of like how to work with some layers and how to parent one layer to the other. What would you recommend, or like just some basic techniques, or like something to learn?
Every layer is feeding off each other.
Shout out.
Shout out to the world's best podcast.
Come on.
There you go.
Such a hater, Dave.
I was waiting for that. It's good to learn all the little techniques. I mean, what you need to learn first is like the keywords of what you need to search for that. Like what you just described, like somebody walking over the text. It's called rotoscopy. You need to learn how to do roto.
What?
Rotoscopy.
Rotoscoping.
Rotoscoping.
Rotoscoping
is a thing that you do in
that's the verb.
all of rotoscopy, like photography.
Rotoscopy.
Rotoscopy.
Rotoscopy. I think
So
I got
that's
that
one
last week
thing.
at the doctor.
Okay, so look into rotoscoping.
That's one thing.
Other keywords here.
Like I took penicillin to get rid of my rotoscopy.
Keying. What's keying? Keying is like you can key any color. It's not just green or blue that you see in movies. You can key the faces to have the like all in those big high-end commercials like Project One. You see the colorist like he keyed the skin tones to get all the red and just like really put a nice shade to it. And yeah, you can key any color. You need to learn keying. You need to learn integration. You need to learn editing. Editing is a big part. You need to learn take a camera, a stills camera, and learn the lenses, how focal length works and all that. Once it's just like, I'm just saying that it takes years to master any craft like that.
Well, you've just discouraged everybody.
No,
But
like
it's
if
just
you start now.
have like a little thing you just want to make.
Yeah.
And then like for me, it's more about don't make the thing to try to do the skill, like make the thing you want to make. And then hopefully like, okay, it'd be cool to like have this, a fireball go by and like, okay, now so I can achieve that story, I have to figure out how to do that.
Exactly. This is how I learn anything. When COVID hit, I was like, I'm going to make a video game. So I was like, I'm going to make a game where COVID viruses chase me and I have a gun with toilet paper in it and I just like shoot toilet paper rolls and then they're going to explode.
I had that same idea.
Yeah. There you go. And I did
Dan did do this. He did make a video game. Another thing where I had to ask, wait, you did this? Like you?
I
like
Googled you recently and I read your North Shore News article about
that came out.
Yeah.
I never read that.
Yeah.
What's the game called?
Operation COVID-19. And you can't use that name, I learned after doing all the marketing material.
Oh.
Because of like, it's all government owned.
You just get flagged.
Yeah, you get flagged.
It's like, I need to get an operation for my COVID. Oh no.
Hey. It was just a dumb game. But like, the more I worked on it, the more I was like, oh, I'm going to make it so awesome. And I kept working. And then the sound design is killer. The music's awesome. Everything. And it looks good. And then I was like, I'm going to make a mobile version. So I had to learn how to fit like this big game I just made into like a phone, and that was like super complicated. But yeah, just because like when you have a project in mind and you have a goal, it's so much easier to learn anything, like especially for game design. But it's so freeing, like compared to filmmaking, because it's real-time feedback. you do one thing, you change one variable, and you hit go, and all of a sudden nothing's working, but it's kind of cool. You just broke your game, and that gave me ideas. Like I just made a mistake of doing the jump way too high. So in the game, I played it, and then I jumped super high, and I realized it was a good strategy to kill all the viruses when you're super high up, and you can just like shoot them down from above. And I was like, this is actually fun. So I just stayed in the game. So yeah.
Can you download this game?
Yeah,
right now?
You can download it on Steam. It's called Operation COVID-19, or on the Android Play Store. It's called Operation Virus. It's been downloaded 100,000 times, or probably more.
No way.
And I got $0.
Oh, no.
Oh, God.
No way.
Yeah, it was $1 when I released it, and it made like $100.
Okay.
I was like,
Nice.
hell yeah, I'm rich. And then after that, I was like, people are not really downloading it, so I put it free, and it got like.
Could you have just put ads on the page?
I
People
did
download?
put ads,
Oh,
but
yeah?
I think I did it wrong because I got like 3 cents on my AdSense.
Baby.
Like I think I
Oh, baby.
messed it up. So yeah, I did the game right, but maybe not the ad part.
You just blow my mind. We're like, what are we doing? I'm wiping down my cereal box with a sanitization wipe, and you're making a video game in a week.
It's called desperation. It was like I lost all my gigs all at once, like Project One
Yeah.
that we were supposed to do like the next month, and I was like, oh shit! So I need to learn stuff. But now, like, see now that Capilano University gig is literally that. Everything I learned doing that, it's gonna be applied to that course. And yeah, it's good to learn. Like the previous, I learned Unreal Engine to do that game, but now it was useful for previs on Project One. It was useful for all the backgrounds in Project One, the earth and everything flying around, all the 3D elements. It's all done in Unreal Engine. So I'm kind of like really in tune now. I just want real-time feedback, and I just render that out, and I comp it, and it looks good.
So everything's just feeding off each other.
Everything's just feeding off each other.
Ooh.
You son of a bitch.
Oh.
I guess at this point, anybody who's not interested in film or VFX work is hanging in there, possibly falling asleep. Let's change topics.
We're getting
to-
late. I'm just wondering if we.
We're gonna get there. We don't know how. We still don't have an outro, so we might try to end this podcast another 7 times.
Yeah, go.
That's okay.
You do it. You do you.
I want to talk about your real skill.
What's my real skill? Oh, yes, I know what my real
Oh, we've tasted your real skill.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that sounds nasty.
It's saucy.
It's saucy.
It's delicious. Melts in your mouth. It's warm. It's the best poutine ever.
Yeah, buddy. Thank you. That makes me feel way better than any compliments about my work in films.
So Dan, no bullshit. He makes the best poutine I've ever tasted.
Yeah,
I don't
agreed.
know if we can give up your secret on air, but you
no.
need to talk about your poutine.
My poutine? Yeah, because I do the gravy.
Wait, hold on.
Whoa,
A lot
whoa.
of people are not going to know what poutine is.
Really?
Who listen to this?
Oh,
for
wow,
sure.
yeah.
there
that's
will
true.
be people.
What
There
is
will be
poutine?
people.
Poutine is the best thing ever.
Okay.
It's fries with cheese curds and gravy.
What's
Yeah.
a cheese curd?
Cheese curds are like little it's soured milk in Quebec, but here it's not that. It's just cheddar. But yeah.
That
You-
did not make that sound tasty at all.
Sorry. Do it. I can't do it.
What is a cheese curd? I don't know. It's like a
Cheese
little
curd?
glob of cheese
like
that
squeaky
normally
cheese.
Yeah, in Quebec it's known as squeaky cheese.
Yeah.
It's got this unique texture that it actually squeaks between your teeth. You can hear it when you're chewing it. But if you get it anywhere
Squeakers.
else other than Quebec, it doesn't squeak. It's the legit stuff squeaks.
Yeah, and yeah, you can hear it when you bite it.
If
It
is
just
not-
goes like squeak.
If it's not going squeak 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 in your teeth, it's not legit.
Like a guinea
Stop
pig.
fooling yourself.
Squeak, squeak, squeak. Yeah, exactly that. And in Quebec, it's like room temperature. It's not refrigerated. Yeah, you can. It's like on every little corner
the
store.
cheese. Yeah,
the
yeah.
cheese is
Okay,
just
okay,
like sitting there in
I thought you
bags.
meant the poutine, and I got very
Same. I was like, that's disgusting.
Hey yo, but yeah, like I've worked on my poutine recipe for longer than I can remember. Like,
Do they teach that in the schools there? or-
yeah, they do.
Okay.
It's
Part
like
of his
mandatory in
Capilano
high school
course.
now.
Like, actually, is it like you have home ec, obviously, cooking class,
What?
cooking class in
Yes.
high school?
Yeah.
It's poutine.
No. I learned that the first time I moved to BC, like years and years ago. I was like, I need to learn how to make poutine on my own because it was so like So I was really into cooking when I was in my early 20s, and I learned how to make my own gravy, and I've been like tweaking it for the past like 15 years, and now it's perfect.
It is
Goodness.
perfect.
Yeah, you could open up a shop and sell poutine. It'd be better than any poutine I've had. So I don't want to give up the secret, but let me describe Dan's poutine. Handmade, hand-cut fries, cooked himself. Gravy made over the oven for hours.
It takes an hour.
There's a base of
For hour.
for hour.
For a hour.
There's I don't even think you use a gravy mix. Am I correct here?
Of course not.
I want to start listing the ingredients, but I don't know if I'm giving away.
No,
like,
don't
the
give
trick.
it. There's,
I can't.
You can say there's like balsamic vinegar,
What?
basil, and fresh basil, not the dry shit.
Onions. You gotta bring it.
Maple syrup. in it.
Oh, I said too much.
Yeah, that's a secret. What did you say?
Onions.
Onions? Oh, onions is like, that's fine. It's
Whatever.
like the base of everything in life. But yeah, onions. But yeah, it's about the.
We said too much. We need to burn this podcast.
Yeah, this is not gonna get released. Break everything. But yeah, I wanted to turn making poutine into like an art form, and I think it's.
Did you do a previs for it?
I
or-
did a previs. I did
Okay,
storyboarding.
good. Yeah, you storyboarded
Actually,
it.
I never wrote down the recipe, and I gave it to Matt, and he did it, and I think he kind of nailed it.
I told you that it was the equivalent of you giving me the nuclear code.
Yes. I was like, don't tell anyone that.
Well, I had a little Christmas soiree, and Dan was kind enough to make poutine for everybody.
It's
And
so good.
that was the highlight of the party for sure. Everybody had to come out one by one and say, Dan, what the hell, man? Yo, for real, it's so good.
I was so nervous. It was the first time that everybody, like, other than like just close friends that come here just at my place once in a while, just like having a big group of people tasting that. I was like, oh my God, hopefully they like it. Oh my God, I'm going to kill myself if they don't like it. But yeah,
Everybody's hungry now.
Yeah.
Everybody listening is.
I could go for a poutine.
Yeah.
there's a good one in Vancouver. It's called La Belle Patate. It's pretty decent. Like, I'll give it a 8 on 10.
So we're thinking of possibly making our way to Quebec later this year.
Oh yeah.
Where should we head up?
Oh my God, you're gonna go to it's in Magog as some of the best poutine. I'm not
my
kidding.
God.
Go to the hometown?
Yeah.
That would be awesome
In my
to go
hometown.
to your
Yeah, there's like when I used to live in Ayerscliff, which is like in the outskirts of Magog, and they have some legit poutine too, and they have like what's it called? Shoot, I forgot the name. Anyway, doesn't matter. But yeah, they have like a knockoff of the Big Mac too, which is like
oh no way.
it's like a homemade Big Mac. It tastes like amazing. You get that with your poutine, and you're like,
Background.
There's a Big Mac pizza here on the shore. and
it's
it's
pretty good.
delicious.
It is pretty
It
good.
is delicious.
I was surprised.
It's an abomination of
Dan,
Italian cuisine.
Your girl goes nuts for it.
Yeah,
My daughter
was like, "This is the best thing ever."
Every
I'm like,
time I see
"Really?"
her now, she's like, "Can we get the Mac Daddy pizza?"
Yeah, she's like, we cannot get the Mac Daddy pizza anywhere or everywhere. She doesn't understand that
This
yet.
is a Wendy's.
This is McDonald's. We don't have a pizza. But
I remember as a young kid eating poutines from Burger King, and they were always like so salty and so nasty, and the fries get all soggy. Like it's similar to like a McDonald's poutine now, I guess. And it's just like it's just not. It's not right.
it's getting
not
the
right.
job done when you have a craving.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, I need to go. Everybody's gonna be so hungry just listening to us right now. If they make it through.
Poutine industry's
It's almost
booming.
like they're feeding off us.
Hey yo.
Oy.
Oh, that's a good one.
I'm bullish for the poutine market right now.
And we need a Mahalo My Dude branded poutine, like
Mahalo my poop.
Container.
Mahalo My Poots.
You know, there was a place here called Smoke's Poutineery, RIP, no longer exists.
What? It's
Thanks
gone?
COVID.
Oh.
Was that the one in Granville?
Yeah, it was the go-to place after you were hammered downtown partying. You'd go get a poutine, but like they had this endless list of like every kind of variation
good.
of like toppings on a poutine. It was, I mean, anything's good when you're drunk at 3 a.m., but I wish I could take you to that place.
They have one at BCIT.
There's still one around?
Smoke's
Yeah.
Poutineery.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And
Wow, that's
yeah,
good.
it was
Closes
just-
at 1:30. So
Oh, there you go.
Let's
we
go.
have to-
damn.
Yeah, we could still get.
We have to get drunk on the BCIT campus.
Let's
All
go.
right. So can you get a job there instead?
Hey, yo.
There is another place on Davie in Vancouver. I think it's called. Oh,
Fritz?
Gosh.
Is it Fritz?
I don't know. It's like a kebab place.
Oh, yeah.
And they have a chicken poutine that's pretty deadly.
Mm.
It's so good, but you'll have a rough morning.
Yeah, that's well. Actually, I think like when you're drunk and you eat poutine, it makes you feel better.
Yeah.
Like all the
That's scientifically
the fat.
proven.
Yeah, no, it's literally the fat
No,
and
yeah.
the salt and all that. makes
When
you
you're
feel better.
drunk or when you're hungover?
both.
Both.
Apparently, when you're hungover, it's not good to eat fatty
Oh,
shit.
dude.
It's science.
What do they know?
What did they know?
I
Scientists.
don't know. Night before though. Night before, I think you want to pack some stuff in.
Dave, the science is sound.
It's not. It's
I've
not.
done years of product testing.
I've done my own research.
Nope, it's just in. The
Oh,
science
see?
is
La belle
changing.
patate.
Yeah,
See, they're right there.
yeah.
Just Fritz, mean poutine. But yeah, like the best one will be the restaurant.
I was
they open
looking
up.
to see if this was on here. Belgian fries on Commercial Drive.
There you go.
Oh boy.
I'm really hungry now.
Well,
Tremendous.
I'm hungry. We need to go get some poutine. Thank you, Dan, for being here.
Thank
this
you.
is me trying to wrap up the podcast. It's attempt number 1. I don't know where this is going, but what we said yesterday was that maybe we would try to just wing an outro and put each other on the spot, similar to how I did the intro. But the intro was written. I don't know if
Right.
we're gonna try to
I
do
think
an
we
outro
should
unwritten.
we should give our guests the floor to promote something.
That's a good
or,
call.
Yeah.
just
What do you
just
want to
say
promote,
something.
Dan?
Go watch Automatic. I spent way too much time on this thing, and hopefully, like, it gets more than 5 to 10 views.
Where can they watch it again?
You can watch it on CBC Gem. You just punch in Automatic, and you'll see a big robot, which is actually Matt's character in the movie. And yeah, Matt.
Do you want to
did a great
direct anyone to your website or anything like that?
No,
Okay.
that's good enough.
Okay.
Just
Follow
you-
Dan on Instagram, dangod.exe. I'll do it for you.
There you go. Thank you. I'm
Show
gonna,
Dan some love.
I'm gonna be finally an influencer. Like
You
you
get
guys.
5 more views and 2 more followers.
Exact. That's pretty much the average. Whenever you tag me on whatever in Mahalo My Dude or FHT, is like 2 or 3 new followers. Yes.
I get like 3 12-year-old mountain bikers every so often.
That's pretty much it. But yeah, that's all I care about these days. Just go watch my stuff. I worked hard on it.
Yeah, and go watch some of our projects. I'm going to promote myself here
Yeah,
on
do
top
it.
of yourself, Dan. Go watch Project 1.
Feeding up each other.
Appreciate Dan's hard work, hand painting each confetti,
Oh my god.
pulling out his hair.
It's actually called Launch into Project 1.
This is true.
That'll be easier to find that way.
This is true. I was thinking, just maybe make I might give a go at a director's cut and
Yeah.
upload like a 1 minute 20 version.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Do we have the footage for that?
I deleted it all. Do you have it?
No.
Well, so much for that idea.
Well, so much for that.
Who wants to do the outro?
Dave.
Okay, I got it.
Okay, and we're all gonna rate the outro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Dan, I just want to say thanks for letting us feed off of you.
Thank you, Dave. It was
I'm
enjoyable.
very full. Thank you.
I'm actually hungrier than when I started.
Hey, yo.
But it's just because we talked about poutine.
Yeah, buddy.
So we're just gonna pretend Dan's not here now for our intro or our outro. God damn it, I said it wrong. Stupid dude.
You're at a 2.
That's-
You're at a
yeah.
2.
Negative 1 point.
But I want you guys to rate how you felt the feeding went today.
What? We didn't eat anything.
No, just the feeding off
Oh,
of
we're
each
pretending
other.
Dan's not here and we're going to
Yeah.
talk about him?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh god.
I feel actually my soul is pretty filled with.
Pretty satiated.
Pretty satiated because, I don't know, we've gone like mountain biking with Dan and I rode bikes with him here today. And it's always cool, I think, when you can be around someone super talented and just hang out as friends. And there's no like hierarchy between that. Whereas, sometimes there is, for sure.
There's egos sometimes.
There is, for sure,
Yeah.
sure. And I think that just speaks to his character.
Oh.
I feel very full. I feel like I have been curious of a lot of these topics for a long time, like asking about the movies and stuff. I've definitely asked you a lot of times and then forgotten, but I saved asking questions because I knew you'd be on the podcast, so it was good to kind of dive in. But it was very easy to get questions to ask you, and we know each other so well now. I love you. My life has changed for the better knowing you. You've improved my career, and
Jesus
you know, I
Christ.
love hanging out with you and your family. And
You've
happy
ruined,
you're here.
ruined poutine for us. We can only eat yours.
Sorry. I'm getting all emotional now. Jesus.
That was a nice moment.
Yeah.
I like Dave how we were like, hey, can you do an outro? And you're like, okay. Hey guys, here's a question.
Yeah,
No, it's literally we have
Yeah.
we have
Super crappy
outro
outro.
notes, and it's in the notes. Rate our feeding off each other.
Yeah, but we were saying go
Okay.
off the dome,
all
dude.
you did was
Off the
say,
dome,
okay, I'm
alright.
going to do the intro. And then you read my note that I wrote last night that says,
Alright.
I don't know, we can rate our feeding off each
All
other.
right.
So
Thanks for listening. Fuck you, Matt. Tune in next time. You can check us out on social media at both IFHT Films and Mahalo My Dude. You can also find Matthew at what's your
don't know.
Matt Dennison TV Instagram.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I think so.
It's Jason Lucas Instagram.
Yeah.
Who cares?
That's me.
I don't have one, so thanks
You
for
don't have
listening.
Instagram?
No, I do. I just don't care to.
We can't
promote
let the
myself.
audience, the guest, have the last promotion. We gotta
Yeah, you gotta promote yourself.
Submerge their promotion with
Yeah.
ours.
Yeah, and thanks for Delightful Mugs for sponsoring this episode with the most delightful mugs.
Yes, thanks to our sponsor, No One.
Yeah.
If you're out there and you have money and something to promote,
We are open.
Open for business.
business.
I'll send you my banking info, and we will promote literally anything.
We take Bitcoin, Dogecoin, confetti,
Yeah.
particularly green.
You want us to talk about boner pills? We'll talk about boner pills.
we already are.
Hey, I'm on one right now. That's not
You
the
can
poutine.
just barely tell, but yeah, I think he is. All right.
All right,
See
Dan,
ya.
your mascara is running.
Oh, yeah.
Go to the bathroom.
That's
Goodbye,
good.
everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
That was awesome.
Thank you for listening to Feeding Off Each Other. Please subscribe for more great podcasts.